How many times have you suffered because of the people you met in your life? How many times have you felt manipulated, criticized, drained of your energy? And how many times have you wished you could free yourself from these toxic relationships, but you didn't know how? If you've ever asked yourself these questions, then this video is for you. Today, we will share Sozen's teachings with you, an elderly Japanese Buddhist monk who has dedicated his life to helping people find inner peace and happiness. Sozen identified 5 types of people who can hinder our spiritual growth and mental well-being. By learning to recognize and avoid them, you can free yourself from toxic relationships and create space in your life for positive and supportive people. So stay away from these 5 types of people. In this video, we will explore their behaviors and understand how to manage them. You'll learn to recognize danger signs, set clear boundaries, and protect your energy. And if you stay until the end, we'll tell you a secret that will help you transform your relationships and live a happier, more fulfilling life. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so that you are updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. The morning sun filtered through the maple leaves, creating a play of light and shadow in the temple's Zen garden. The disciples of Sozen, the revered Buddhist monk, sat in a circle around him, eager to hear his words of wisdom. Sozen, his eyes reflecting the calm of a mountain lake, began to speak. My dear disciples, the path to spiritual growth is a path fraught with challenges, but also full of opportunities. However, along this path, you will encounter individuals who, although they may seem harmless, can hinder your progress and threaten your mental well-being. Today, I'm going to tell you about 5 types of people it's wise to stay away from. A respectful silence fell on the group, while the disciples concentrated on the words of their master. Sozen continued, "Manipulators are the first ones you should stay away from. They are like sinister shadows that creep into your mind, distorting reality and sowing doubts. They use flattery, guilt, and fear to control your thoughts and actions. They may seem charming and charismatic at first, but their true nature soon reveals itself. Imagine having a friend, let's call him Hiroshi, who constantly flatters you, complimenting your looks, your talent, or your intelligence. At first, you may feel appreciated and valued, but over time, you will realize that Hiroshi uses this flattery to get what he wants from you. He or she may ask you for favors, ask you to make decisions you are not comfortable making, or even ask you to do things that go against your values. Or, imagine having a partner who makes you feel guilty every time you don't do what he wants. He may tell you things like, "If you really loved me, you would do this for me," or "You don't make me happy." This type of partner uses guilt to manipulate you and make you feel obligated to satisfy their needs, even at the expense of yours. Stay away from those who try to shape you in their image and likeness, depriving you of your autonomy and emotional balance. Don't let anyone manipulate you or make you feel guilty for being yourself. Remember, you have the right to make your own decisions and live your life according to your values. Chronic complainers are like bottomless pits of negativity, ready to absorb your energy and drag you into their abyss of despair, the monk continued. They wallow in their misfortunes, refusing to see the light that surrounds them. They always see the glass as half empty and constantly complain about everything that goes wrong in their life. Think about that friend, let's call him Kenji, who every time you meet him tells you how terrible his job is, how unfair his boss is, how difficult his life is. No matter how much you try to cheer him up, Kenji always finds a reason to complain. Or imagine you have a colleague who constantly complains about the weather, the traffic, the food in the canteen. Yumi seems incapable of seeing the bright side of things, and her negativity is contagious. Avoid constant complainers, as their pessimistic outlook can taint your spirit and hinder your spiritual growth. Their negativity is contagious and can easily affect your mood. Instead, Surround yourself with positive and optimistic people who inspire you and encourage you to see the good in life. As the disciples listened with great attention, Sozen continued, "Perennial critics are like poisonous thorns that prick your heart, leaving you hurt and insecure. They feed on your weaknesses, pointing out your mistakes and belittling your successes. No matter how hard you try, they will never be satisfied and will always find something to criticize." Imagine having a parent who constantly criticizes your life choices, your job, your partner. This father or mother seems incapable of seeing your value and makes you feel inadequate and insecure. Or think about that professor who belittles your efforts and makes you feel stupid. He seems to enjoy making you feel inferior and never gives you the recognition you deserve. Move away from those who constantly judge you, as their cutting words can break your spirit and hinder your inner peace. Their criticisms are not constructive, but only aim to make you feel inadequate. Don't let anyone belittle your successes or make you doubt your abilities. Those who gossip are like poisonous snakes that slither in the shadows, spreading gossip and slander, said the monk, introducing another type of person to keep away. They enjoy sowing discord and destroying relationships between people they feel envious of. They do not care about the consequences of their words and are always ready to spread unfounded rumors and make others look bad. Think about that neighbor, let's call her Hannah, who spreads gossip about all the neighbors, creating tensions and conflicts. Hannah seems to enjoy pitting others against each other and doesn't care who she hurts with her words. Or imagine you have a friend who's always telling you gossip about your mutual friends, trying to turn you against each other. This type of friend is incapable of keeping a secret and uses gossip to manipulate relationships. Do not associate with those who gossip, as their poisonous words can poison your mind and damage your reputation. Do not participate in their gossip, and do not allow them to involve you in their machinations. Remember, words have great power and can hurt deeply. And then there are the energy vampires, continued the one-armed man. These are like leeches that attach themselves to your soul, draining your life energy. They are selfish and needy individuals who constantly demand your attention and support without ever giving anything in return. They are always the center of attention and feed off the energy of others. Imagine having a friend who always calls you to complain about his problems, but is never interested in listening to yours. This friend always leaves you exhausted and empty without giving you anything in return. Or think about that colleague who always asks you for help with his projects, but never thanks you and never offers his help in return. This friend seems to think that your time and energy are always at his disposal. Limit your contact with those who leave you exhausted and drained, as their toxic presence can drain your inner strength. Don't let them monopolize your time and energy. Learn to say no and set clear boundaries. Remember, your energy is precious, and you must protect it. Sozen paused, allowing his disciples to reflect on his words. Then, with a benevolent smile, he added, "My dear disciples, do not be afraid to distance yourself from these negative people. Doing so is not an act of selfishness, but of love towards yourself. Only in this way can you protect your mental well-being and your emotional balance. Instead, surround yourself with positive individuals who inspire you, support you, and encourage you to grow. And remember that your spiritual growth is a personal journey, and you have the right to choose who accompanies you along the way." The disciples nodded, understanding the wisdom of their master's words. And Sozen added, "Do not allow anyone to extinguish your inner light. Cultivate your spirituality, nourish your mental well-being, and protect your inner peace. Be like the lotus, which flowers in the mud, but remains pure and uncontaminated." The disciples stood up, thanking Sozen for his valuable teachings. As they moved away, they felt stronger and more determined to continue their spiritual journey, aware of the pitfalls that awaited them, but also of the inner strength they had cultivated. In the following days, they put Sozen's teachings into practice, Some decided to directly confront the negative people in their lives by setting clear boundaries and communicating their needs. Others chose to gradually distance themselves, limiting contact and investing their time and energy in more positive relationships. One day, a disciple named Taro approached Sozen with a worried look. "Master," Taro said, "I've been trying to set boundaries with a friend who is an energy vampire, but he doesn't seem to respect them. He keeps calling me and asking me for favors, even though I told him I need space." Sozen listened carefully to Taro, then replied, "Sometimes, my dear disciple, even after setting clear boundaries, some people will not respect them. In these cases, you may need to make a difficult decision. Walk away from that person completely. Remember, your inner peace and mental well-being are more important than any relationship." Taro nodded, understanding his master's words. He decided to completely distance himself from his energy vampire friend, knowing that it was best for his spiritual growth. As time passed, Sozen's disciples continued to progress on their spiritual path, becoming stronger, wiser, and more compassionate individuals. They had learned to recognize and avoid negative people and to surround themselves with positive individuals who inspired and supported them. But what does this story teach us? That our spiritual growth and mental well-being depend largely on the people we choose to have in our lives. Surrounding ourselves with positive individuals who inspire us, support us, and encourage us to grow is fundamental to our personal development. At the same time, we must learn to recognize and avoid negative people, those who manipulate us, criticize us, drain us of our energy. We shouldn't be afraid to walk away from these toxic relationships, even if it means making difficult decisions. Remember, your inner peace and mental well-being are more important than any relationship. Don't let anyone turn off your inner light. Cultivate your spirituality, nourish your mental well-being, and protect your inner peace.